And we're back with our questions and answers from our community on online banking security.
Okay, so not exactly about online bank malware, but if a bank account is robbed by an online criminal, am I on my own, or does the bank take responsibility? Will I get the money back?
That's a great question. Like, what happens if somebody actually infects your system with a banking Trojan, you log into an online bank, and the banking Trojan moves money away from your account? What's going to happen next?
It depends on the type of bank account and where you're located. Years ago, banks in Ireland started to kind of publicly state that if you're the victim of phishing, that wasn't their problem. You were the one who fell for the phishing. This was pre-financial crisis, and it wasn't a very popular move for the banks to be kind of making those statements. But
it was also pre-banking Trojans.
Yeah.
Phishing used to be a bit different problem. And phishing is the act where you go to a website which looks like the bank website.
Log in
and you lose your credentials.
And then someone uses them on the bank site.
Which really isn't that big a problem with banks anymore, because most banks now have two-factor authentication or single sign-on systems. So it's mostly banking Trojans nowadays.
Yeah. Now, I know in the States with small businesses, the small business better have insurance because the banks don't consider them to be, they won't compensate the small business if they lose money because of a banking charge.
So if a consumer loses money, the bank gives it back. If a business loses money, they won't.
Yeah, not beyond a certain amount. I suppose if there's an initial breach or something that make it better. But if it's a big breach, and then this is like looking at some statistics of, so from the, if you go to FBI.gov and search their site for banking Trojan, you'll come across a press release and a lot of information from 2010. And at that point, they had one ring that they busted where they had investigated 390 cases. There were 220 million in attempted losses, and the actual losses were 70 million. And that averages out to about $180,000 on average for the successful cases. So that's small to medium business organizations, churches, community clubs who have a few tens of thousands sitting in the bank account, and they got nailed. And the reason the FBI investigated this particular ring is because those were problematic cases, because when it got that much, the bank turns to insurance. The bank doesn't want to pay back the customer. They're pointing at the customer and saying, you guys should have protected your computer.
Right. And I believe this particular case was done with the Zeus Trojan. And it's especially problematic because many of these operators using Zeus and other similar Trojans are more and more targeting not just end users at home, but small organizations and small and medium companies, because obviously there's more money in their accounts. Like, how much money do you have in your personal account? Not that much. How much does an average company have? Much more. And they're not going to notice the loss immediately. If an average end user loses 5,000 euros from their account, they're going to notice it right away. And a company loses 5,000 euros, it's going to take one.
So the average losses per consumer probably average more, a few €100 per attack. That's easy enough for the bank to either absorb and just pay back the customer completely, and they don't want to lose a good customer that way because that's competitive. But small businesses that have several thousands to tens of thousands lost.
So the answer is, for most end users, you will get your money back when you complain back to the bank, but it's still going to be a hassle. So better make sure it doesn't happen to you.